Is Canada risking its Arctic sovereignty by sticking with the F-35? Could this $19 billion fighter jet deal backfire, leaving the Royal Canadian Air Force vulnerable? And what if a cheaper, locally assembled option like Saab's Gripen could do the job just as well, or even better? Today, we break down the political battles, U.S. pressure, and program delays that are making this decision one of Canada's most controversial military choices in decades. What will Canada's skies look like in 2030? Will the F-35 dominate the Arctic, or will delays, cost overruns, and strategic uncertainties force Ottawa to rethink its fighter fleet? Could a mixed fleet strategy change the game for Canadian defense and local industry? In this video, we explore the high-stakes choices ahead and what they mean for the future of Canada's air power and its relationship with the United States. Canada is standing at a crossroads, and the clock is ticking. By the end of October 2025, Ottawa must decide the fate of its long-planned F-35 fighter jet purchase. On paper, it looks like just another defense contract, but in reality, the implications could shake the very foundation of North America's security. According to Canada's Department of National Defence, the review will wrap up by the end of the calendar summer, with the findings landing on Prime Minister Mark Carney's desk for a final decision. But here's where the tension escalates. The United States has already fired a warning shot. Washington says that if Canada walks away from the deal, there will be serious consequences. This isn't just diplomatic pressure. Back in May, U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra openly linked the F-35 purchase to the survival of NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. His argument was blunt. If Canada and the U.S. don't fly the same fighter jets, their militaries lose interchangeability, weakening the very system designed to protect the skies above the continent. And NORAD isn't a small operation. It's the shield of North America, a vast network of satellites, Arctic radars, and fighter jets on constant alert, scanning for threats from every angle. Imagine that shield with even a single weak link, and you'll understand why Washington is pressing so hard. But here's the real question. Is this about Canada's sovereign right to choose its own defense path, or is it about America ensuring its strategic dominance? That tension is at the heart of this unfolding drama. To really understand why Canada's F-35 decision has become so explosive, we need to rewind the clock. Back in July 2010, Prime Minister Stephen Harper's Conservative government made a bold announcement. Canada would buy 65 F-35A fighter jets for $9 billion Canadian dollars. The message was clear. These aircraft weren't just weapons, they were a cornerstone of defending Canadian airspace and securing the Arctic. But almost immediately, the decision set off a political firestorm. Critics accused Harper's government of pushing through a sole-source deal without open competition, locking Canada into an expensive, controversial aircraft. And then came a pivotal moment, the 2015 federal election. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau turned the F-35 into a campaign weapon. He promised Canadians he would cancel the plan, calling it unnecessary and overpriced. His pitch was simple. Why spend billions on one aircraft when cheaper alternatives could do the job? When Trudeau won and took office in November 2015, he doubled down, announcing Canada would actively seek alternatives to the F-35. This was more than a procurement debate. It became a symbol of political identity. Conservatives argued the F-35 was essential for sovereignty, while liberals painted it as reckless spending. The fighter jet wasn't just flying through Canadian skies, it was flying straight into the heart of partisan politics. After years of political back and forth, Canada tried a new path. In 2017, Ottawa launched the Future Fighter Capability Project, a fully open competition to finally replace the country's aging CF-18 Hornet fleet. On paper, it looked like a fair race. Big names lined up. Boeing with the FA-18 Super Hornet, Dassault with the Rafale, and Airbus with the Eurofighter Typhoon. But one by one, the competitors started to drop out. Dassault pulled the Rafale in 2018, blaming interoperability and intelligence sharing restrictions tied to Canada's Five Eyes membership. Airbus followed a year later, saying the rules of the game were tilted in Lockheed Martin's favor. Then came 2021, when Boeing's Super Hornet was abruptly disqualified under circumstances Ottawa never fully explained. By March 2022, the contest had narrowed to just two choices: Lockheed Martin's F-35 and Sweden's Saab Gripen. And here's where the story came full circle. Ottawa once again picked the F-35, this time justifying the move through NATO obligations, NORAD interoperability, and the high-stakes challenge of defending the Arctic. The price tag was staggering: $19 billion for 88 jets, with deliveries set to begin in 2025. Think about that for a moment. After a decade of political promises, endless reviews, and heated debates, Canada ended up right where it started, with the F-35. Only now, the costs were higher, the stakes greater, and the controversy louder. In 2023, the debate over Canada's fighter jet future took another twist. Saab Canada's president, Simon Carroll, went on record accusing Ottawa of breaking its own tender rules. He claimed that after the bidding had closed, the government quietly renegotiated key details, cost, delivery schedules, and industrial benefits directly with Lockheed Martin. In Saab's eyes, that tilted the entire playing field in favor of the F-35, echoing the very concerns Dassault and Airbus had raised before pulling out. Fast forward to today, and those accusations still resonate. Officially, Canada has chosen the F-35. But beneath the surface, the story isn't settled. In fact, Sweden has kept the Gripen alive as a political and industrial counterweight. In August 2025, Ottawa and Stockholm announced a new aerospace and defense cooperation framework. And the focus wasn't subtle. Arctic security was front and center. Why does this matter? Because Saab had promised something Lockheed couldn't: Gripen fighters built and maintained inside Canada. That would mean not just fighter jets, but Canadian jobs, industrial independence, and an aircraft designed for austere Arctic runways, conditions where the F-35 may struggle. Supporters of a mixed fleet argue that Gripen could complement the F-35, creating flexibility across Canada's vast northern geography. And while the government insists the F-35 is the chosen path, the Gripen's shadow still lingers in the conversation, ensuring Canada's fighter debate is far from over. As if the political storm wasn't enough, the F-35 program itself has been struggling. On September 3, 2025, the U.S. Government Accountability Office dropped a bombshell. The Block 4 upgrade, the exact version Canada intends to buy, is now $6 billion over budget and 5 years behind schedule. And that's not the only red flag. Lockheed Martin delivered 110 jets in 2024, but every single one was late. The average delay? 238 days. Compare that to just 61 days the year before, and the trend is alarming. Canada's Department of National Defense insists it's monitoring the situation, but critics say this proves the danger of putting all of Canada's air power eggs in one American basket. Retired Lieutenant General Yvon Blondin, once a vocal supporter of the F-35, has now flipped. His warning is chilling. U.S. support for the program should be viewed like NATO's Article 5 guarantee. It may be there when you need it, or it may not, and Canada has no control over that. This leaves Ottawa facing a decision that could define its defense strategy for decades. Will Prime Minister Mark Carney reaffirm the full 88-jet F-35 purchase, scale it back, or even introduce a second aircraft type like Saab's Gripen to hedge Canada's bets? One thing is certain: the choice made in the coming weeks won't just shape the Royal Canadian Air Force. It will redefine Canada's sovereignty, its Arctic defense, and perhaps even its relationship with its closest ally, the United States. This F-35 saga isn't just about jets. It's about Canada's sovereignty, Arctic defense, and the delicate balance of its alliance with the U.S. What do you think, Skyjet Wings viewers? Should Canada stick to the F-35 or consider a mixed fleet to protect its skies and industries? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you found this breakdown insightful. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the latest aerospace and defense news.